Yo! Before we start this episode of Hot Takes, hit the bitch button and make it official. Paulina, you have a shout out.
Shout out to DJ Premier for watching our Royce the 5'9" Hot Takes and showing love. Yes.
Shout out.
Thank you.
No, I got a shout out too. Shout out to Obama because he watched it.
What?
Yeah.
What?
You didn't see him comment?
You stop playing with my heart.
All right. Today's Hot Takes is about something I felt like we had to make a hot take on because I was so blown away by the quality of what I watched. And then I went online and I realized nobody was really talking about this how I thought people should be talking about it. I'm talking about the documentary that you may have seen on Netflix, Hip Hop Evolution.
Ooh,
Produced by none other than comedian Russell Peters, who is a certified hip hop head. He's also a dope DJ. And shout out to you, Russell.
Good work.
Yeah. Now, Paulina, I'm not lying. I have watched every hip hop documentary. Everyone. Like everyone ever made. Like from everything that's ever been on VH1 to BET to The Show, Rhyme and Reason. Fucking, there's even like a Swedish documentary from the early 80s. I watched that too, man.
Name
Like,
drop it.
I don't know, because it's in
He's making
Swedish.
that shit
But
up.
no. If you go on YouTube right now and you search it, it'll pop up though.
All right.
And it's like the 80s, and there's like these dudes freestyle, and they follow L Cool J around and Run DMC and everything.
Okay.
I love hip hop history, right? So when I watched Hip Hop Evolution on Netflix, I was blown away by a couple things. One, just overall the quality, how good it was, the interviews, all that, right? But two, how accurate
Yeah.
it was, or excuse me, how accurate
Accurate.
it was.
Most definitely.
Because what a lot of hip hop documentaries do, especially the ones that come on cable, like VH1, they did some pretty good ones. But
What was that one? Behind the Music?
yeah,
what is it?
but what they tend to do is they tend to highlight the more commercial moments and then gloss over the more culturally relevant moments. So like, and this ain't a shot because I know we throw shots at him, but it's like, you know, they'll talk about how great Eminem was, but then they never talk about the battle scene or the alternative hip hop culture he came from, which at the time was like Raucous Records and stuff like that. So this documentary does a great job of highlighting everything. It's the true, in my opinion, the true story of what we call this hip hop thing. So it starts in the 70s. It takes you all the way up. So it starts with like Treacherous 3 and just how it started in the Parks and Kool Herc and Africa Bambaataa.
And they got all of those people too interviewing, which I think
Yes.
is pretty dope because it's like, yo, you got to approach somebody of that stature and be like, hey, I just need you to come do this documentary. And I'm pretty sure them thinking like, is this going to be something corny? Like, do I even want to be associated with this? But nah, they're like real genuine interviews and they really give their perspective on hip hop now than like how it came about for them.
Yeah, and it was just dope because one of the eras of hip hop that like I'm really obsessed with is the 70s because people don't even realize hip hop was around. Nah, that's the 80s.
Hit
We
me
talking
with one.
70s when
Hit
it was
me
just
one.
that might have been before the ha. It was the 70s was like they were just my name is Noah. I'm a hip hop flower. My favorite animal is a Balboa, which is a snake.
Is it?
Yeah, I think right.
I don't know.
Both?
It is?
No. Is it really? No, but they're so hip hop in the 70s, people don't realize is that was like before hip hop was even recorded. So hip hop was still like a local in the club, in the party phenomenon. And for him to really discuss that and talk to the actual people that were there. And then he tells a real dope story of like DJ Hollywood and how he wasn't like a hip hop head, but how he was really relevant to the hip hop culture at that time. Then, they worked their way up to Africa Bambaataa and then Grandmaster Flash. And, he goes all the way up. And then even in the 90s, one of the things I loved was that, of course, we hit the Tupac Biggie.
Yep.
But then he talked about how the West Coast was running things for a while. So New York's answer was, the boom bap era. But then he talks about here in LA how we had like the Good Life, which was Freestyle Fellowship, AC Alone, Self Juke, all of them come out of that. And that was like all our gangster rap alternative scene. And then at the same time, obviously New York had the most depth, the Talib Kweli's, they had their whole Rockets thing and they had what they were doing. But it was so dope to me because one, I come out that backpack culture to begin with. So that's what I mostly identify with if you got to ask me like the hip hop that raised me. But more so though, it was super dope because most people wouldn't highlight that. Most people wouldn't take a whole.
They would have just been like, all right, on to the next. Biggie, Tupac, boom. Okay, gangster rap, boom. That's checked off. Oh, okay, like.
Yeah, there's an episode on there. It's a whole hour. They're talking about AC Alone and Freestyle Fellowship. Then they talk about Mos Def, Talib Kweli, and Raucus Records. And it's like most documentaries would not do that. So and then they do one on Dilla. But then at the same time, they do one on the Neptunes. And it's like, these were all the relevant people at the time. You know, because we lived through this shit, you know what was going on. You know, and I think sometimes the documentaries forget things like that.
I think it's important that not everybody lived through that, but then they bring that up. So it's like you're kind of revisiting the past to see how your future is, how it was shaped. So like they kind of revisit, like you said, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s. So for a lot of people who might have missed, I don't know, like the mid 80s, early 90s, and they get to look back at that and they're like, yo, we've been here before. Like stuff that we see now, we've been here before.
Well, no, that's a great point. And that's why I feel like it's perfect for people that didn't, you know, I say we, like the people that lived through it, we know what was going on because we played a little bit closer attention. But I think, you know, for the youngins, the teenagers, the people that are just now starting to get into like hip hop, for them to be able to see an accurate depiction.
Spell accurate.
Accurate. I can't spell it right now. I may, or never mind. I'm just saying.
Don't incriminate yourself on hot takes.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
No, but it's just dope because it's, you know, if you don't know, if you weren't born back then, or you weren't around back then, and to be able to have, you know, really see what was going on, it's just dope. And it's like, as a hip hop head, it makes me very happy to say like, yo, man, somebody did this shit right and made a dope ass documentary. Like,
and it looks like it's still gonna be continuing. So I think it's into season 4.
We're on season 4, and they're about in that like, they're in that 2005-ish, 2006-ish era.
Kanye.
Well, a little bit further, like more so like the crunk era. And no, I take that back. They got to the mixtape era. So the last episode was like the 50 Cent. Well, it starts off with DJ Drama, them getting raided. And, you know, it touches on obviously 50 because in a lot of ways in that era, he was a godfather of mixtapes. But they also talk about, you know, how there was mixtapes before him. And they have official motherfuckers. So they have like DJ Logic and the Beat Miners and people that were really there doing mixtapes. Maybe not the most famous, but the people that really put that work in at the time and made it, you know, to what it was. So, you know, it's just a great documentary.
Shout out to the host.
Yeah.
You know he's a rapper? I didn't know he was a rapper. From Canada.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know any of his music. But I know on the show he said he was a rapper, so.
Yeah, from Canada. Why Canadians always got to come in and try to, you know what I'm saying? They do great work. This is a great documentary. I don't want to throw no shots at Canada.
Nah, Canada's cool, man. They have good health care. He's probably healthy, happy as fuck. Like.
He's happy in all the episodes. He does great interviews, though. Shout out to him.
He does.
Shout out to the host.
And shout out Russell Peters, man.
So watch it.
Yeah. Shout out to you, Russell Peters.
Because hip-hop history is so important for you to push the culture forward.
Yeah, but it's
to embrace it.
When it's done right.
Because people, it gets lost.
Yeah.
So don't let it get lost.
And I think the main thing you take away from this video is that it was done right. And not saying it hasn't been done right in the past. You know, the show was good, Rhyme and Reason. You know, I've seen all of them. But this one is just like, man.
And the thing is, a lot of those are documentaries and more of in the long form, and these are more like episodes. So you can kind of get a little bit more niche into what each subject is being addressed. So like the mixtapes or like the what else is addressing them? Like if you're talking about just Southern.
Yeah, he talks about Southern hip hop and then the super producer era and then you know like the backpack era, the shiny suit era, which like I love that era, and nobody ever talks about it. They try to act like it never existed, but hey, man. I had a fucking neon green Atlanta Braves jersey that was 5 sizes too big.
I got 2 takeaways from this. 1, this was done hella accurate. Watch it.
I almost hit the bitch button.
2, hip-hop education is so important. So educate yourself, learn, push the culture forward. Do you.
That's
Keep
it.
watching Hot Takes.
Yep.
You want to add anything?
No.
Shout out to Canada. And we out.